Thanks so much, by the way. All right. It seems some of the exponents of the specialized critics that in the new album Had Before Black, the aggressiveness and the violence of the songs prevail over the technique. Maybe the contrast with the penultimate record is Skeleton Down. The new album seems to be more direct and with a few elements of variation among the songs. Do you agree with this evaluation, or are your opinion main characters of the new album?
I really don't understand the question, actually.
Oh, sorry. Sometimes quite easy.
All right. It seems to some exponents.
Specialized quiz.
Um, uh, uh, well, all I can say is we love the new album. I mean, it's going to be a little different than a Skeletal Domain. I mean,
Probably more aggressive.
I think it's more aggressive. I mean, I think it's more raw. I think it's more old school. A little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely a little bit a little more straightforward than say a Skeletal Domain, I guess. But the way we look at it, we're just writing songs that we believe in. At any given moment, for every album we've ever done.
Yeah.
So whatever people are going to say, that's going to be their opinions, of course. But in our opinion, we really feel this is probably some of the best material that we've ever written. In many ways, in structure, song structure, in just the musicianship and all that kind of thing. We're just really happy about the new record, and yes, it's a different album than Skeletal Domain, but it should be a different album. But we're happy in the direction we've gone, and we're happy the way Red Before Black turned out in every aspect. So.
All right. Let me try this for the second. Scott Burns and Eric Hutton are the producers that have worked more often than any other of the band in their entire career. Can you explain the main difference between them?
Well, I mean, the main difference, I think, back is technology for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, back, you're recording differently. You have different ways of recording. It's a lot more primitive, of course. I mean, there's always the argument, well, what analog compared to, say, digital with Pro Tools and all this, but you got to move with the times, and really that's just more convenient, easier to do it that way. It still sounds good. So those are the main differences. And another difference is just the whole amount of time that this has been going on. Early on, well, you're still learning. Producers are learning. We're all learning. You're able to look back now, and the newer producers and the guys doing it now, well, they've learned from the early guys. Yeah. So
you improve yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So everyone's going to improve, and the productions are going to improve, and the techniques in that way are going to improve. So in those ways, it's different. But mentally, it's always been the same. You have great guys that have great minds that want to do the best they can, and they're doing the best of the abilities with the equipment they have and the knowledge they have for the given time to make the best sounding record that they can. So
they have better quality,
exactly.
Better amps, better.
That's right.
Techniques.
So that's the main difference.
How is work for the composition for the band? Everyone brings some idea, or just go in the rehearsal and start to play?
It's a little bit of everything. Some songs come together with just a little playing, and then some of the songs, most of the songs are written actually these days more. Alex will write his songs. Okay. Pat writes his songs. Rob will write his songs, and then I am the common, of course, because I have to drum on all the songs. So I'll make jam with each of them and work on their songs maybe individually, and then some songs maybe is a collaboration maybe between two individuals. So
you work in a half.
Yes. So it's a mixture of ways, but it's definitely a lot different than the old days. And the first three albums were really strictly written. In the sense of all five guys getting in the room, right, and hey, I got a riff, and you put the song together, and there you go. And we tend to really not write that way at all anymore. So it's changed a little bit, but I think we got a good process.
Okay. The cover of the new album, Had Before Black, presents the traditional features of the artistic work of the band. Also exhibited in the many covers of previous albums, such as the blood spilling and the sheer violence, and yet it's much less explicit than the covers by like a Butcher at Birth and of the Tomb of Mutilated Records. Is there any particular reason for that?
You're always going to have a different cover. Every cover can't be Butchered at Birth, Tomb of the Mutilated. When you look throughout our whole career and all 14 albums, I mean, yeah, we had those first couple that are pretty brutal, defining the band's image in a sense. You know, Eaten Back to Life is pretty, you know, our first album, pretty graphic. And then, yes, you have Butchered and Tomb. But then you look at our fourth album, The Bleeding, it's not, what is that? It's just a kind of a splatter, you know, it's nothing very graphic, nothing very, well, it's not Tomb of the Mutilated, Butchered at Birth. So, to me, it's you know, we've done it. It's not like it's new. It's not like every cover we've had was some brutal cover. You know, we had 3 in a row. Then you got 4 that's like, whoa, and then, you know, then we've had a couple in between, and you bring it back with The Wretched Spawn. You have that. You got Torture. It's a pretty brutal cover, you know, and then you got a cover like, say, Skeletal Domain, which is a completely different kind of scope. But there you go. You don't want to do the same covers. You want to kind of explore different, you know, avenues of art there. You know, you want it to be dark and brutal in certain ways, like how Skeletal Domain is. It's brutal and different. It's a different kind of darkness than Butchered at Birth, than Tomb of the Mutilated, than Evisceration Plague, than Gallery of Suicide. And Red Before Black, I mean, it's, you know, you really got to just look at the perspective of it. It's a different cover, but it's brutal in a different sense, you know. You're the victim, you know. I mean, you know, all the other covers, well, somebody else is the victim. You're looking at, like, the scene of the crime. Well, this is, you're the one that's being, you know, killed with the, in Red Before Black, you know, that's what you're looking at, you know, that's your final scene, you know, that blood before you die, and that's what even the title means, of course, Red Before Black.
Talk about meaning and about Red Before Black. Have some meaning for the expression Red Before Black?
That's it, right there. Yeah. You know, seeing blood before you die. You know, red representing the blood, and black representing death. So, and it was something I came up with, but it was really that simple of a meaning. And I thought it was just a very cool usage of those colors and those words, you know, red before black, blood before death, you know, and that's as simple as that.
Do you agree that it is the most abstract title that you have described to album?
No, well, I don't understand the question.
Do you agree that the most abstract title that you have even ascribed it to an album?
For this album, Red Before Black, it's pretty abstract, I think. Yeah, probably the most abstract. I mean, I think A Skeletal Domain was a little like, okay, it's a little more concrete, but you're still like kind of well, that could be many a thing. But right, Red Before Black, because like I said, the usage of those, it's their colors, you know. So right, you kind of got to think for a minute, you know. But I do believe, you know, people should think, well, under the context of Cannibal Corpse, well, what is red going to represent? Or, you know, what is black going to represent? So I think you should think, you know. I mean, but it's good that people think, of course, you know, because it, you know, they don't know, you know. So yeah, I would say it's safe to say it's our most abstract, yeah.
Which songs from the Red Before Black will you play or have already been playing in the concerts?
Yeah.
How has the audience reception been to them?
Yeah, good. They've been great. I mean, you know, it seems like everybody's really liking the new record. We played, we opened the set with Code of the Slashers. You know, we're playing Only One Will Die, Red Before Black, Scavenger Consuming Death, Corpus Delicti. And we're playing, well, that's it. So we're playing 5 of the new songs. But on the boat, we played our 2 shows. We had to cut 1 song, so we ended up playing 4 new songs. But to us, you know, we're really happy, and we want to play as much as possible. We were going to attempt to play 6 songs off the new record live, but it didn't work. But hey, if we're just doing 5 at least, that's cool. So, you know.
Okay. After so many years touring around the world, do you not see any change in your kids' kind of fans? Or are they mostly the same ones who have remained faithful?
It's a mix. I mean, I think we wouldn't be as successful as we are if it was just the same fans that we've been having for years. Because, you know, it's the fans have grown. You know, the music has grown, so the fan base has grown. You know, and that's important. You know, a lot of new kids every day. There's some new kid getting into the music. You know, becoming a fan of metal, death metal bands. You know, and we've seen that, like say, in the last 10, 15 years. You know, more and more so. You know, every tour you do, every show you do, you know, you're seeing different people, younger crowds. You know, the new generation of, you know, fans coming and supporting, and that's important for the longevity of the music and the band. So, you know, we're totally seeing that.
To which extent does the new way of enjoying music, peculiar of this new century, makes any difference for death metal?
What was it? To what extent to the new way of enjoying
Music.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
Okay, let's go for the next one. Cannibal Corpse can be considered one of the death metal groups who are the most loyal to their artistic proposal in the history of the extreme music. How can you keep the inspiration to always compose with the same very restricted music style and to treat about the very same subjects in your songs for almost 30 years?
Oh, I mean, we just love what we do. You know, when you're a kid starting to play music, and you know you're so passionate about it, and you want to make your own band, and then you become a success with your own band, and you know with music and music you love to play. I mean, some crazy music like death metal. Well, how do you not want to just keep it going? You know, and you've kind of made it in a sense. You know, and we're very fortunate to be here and our band to be successful, and it become our job and our profession and all that. So. And then you get the fan reaction, you know, when our fans are so loyal and so dedicated and so diehard. Well, it just kind of goes both hand in hand, you know. You just, hey, this is our job, and we love what we do, and fans love what we do. Well, then how does that not make you just want to keep rolling and keep it going, and you know, and take it till as far as you can do it, because you know you only live once. You know, life's short, and you know, I said we're fortunate to be doing what we love to do. So. And then yeah, we're lucky. We're no short of ideas. We keep going. When we have to create, we're able to create, and we feel that we're creating better than we ever created. You know, we're constantly getting better at what we do. As we get older, it seems like we're improving in every aspect with the musicianship and the songwriting and all those kind of things. And that's why an album like Red Before Black is arguably probably our best album, you know, because I think it's a culmination of all things Cannibal. And we're just kind of like, yes, that experience, and we're just, you know, aging like a kind of a fine wine, you know, and
we're working out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so that's a good thing. But you know, but then all those things. Yes, the fans know that we're not going through the motions. So that of course is key as well. We've never have, you know, and never stopped. You know, you never took a time off. Just constantly working, playing shows, making records. Right. You know, so that's key, man. So
this is the key. Many of rock and metal medallions of the 70s are announcing that retirement, or some of them died, you know, at least that they will not continue to far so long ahead. Some of them clearly do not have the same energy of the past times, and there are unfortunately those that have left us. Have the great death metal bands that emerged in the 80s, like you, already felt the burden,
yeah,
of age of
yeah. Oh no, not yet. You know, like we were just saying. Here we are, 30 years in, 14 records, and we're better than ever. You know.
Yeah.
So if we did feel that burden of age and all that, well, we'd probably be ready to quit. You know, and maybe not being as energetic as we can, because we're like, oh man, we're tired. We're sore. We're sick or whatever. You know. So we're not. You know. So. I mean, it's hard to say what the future holds, though. You got to take it day by day when we get to this age, you know, because right now you can say I feel great. Well, who's to say in 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 or 10? You know, you don't know now, you know, because we're getting to that point. So, but just going by what you see from other bands and your heroes and the bands that are, finally calling it quits. You know, look at their ages and you go, hey, you know, a band like Rush, Neil Peart, you know, he made it to mid-60s, you know, and he had to call it quits, and he played on top of his game, and he was a great drummer, and he did it his way. He knew maybe he couldn't continue anymore. Well, that's amazing to me. If you can make it to 65 or so and being able to, you know, to be doing what you're doing, you know, if I can do that at that age, that'd be just unbelievable. So who knows? We'll find out, I guess, right? We don't know yet, you know, that we're going to all be the kind of the guinea pigs here. You know, of like, how far can it go? How far can a death metal drummer play? How old can he be? We don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
So we'll find out. So
we're gonna find out right now.
Yeah, I guess we're about to find out.
So do you listen to some new black metal bands? No.
Nah.
No. You have someone that you like, or you feel like that
No.
can carry on all this
Not really.
history of the black metal?
Not really, you know. I mean,
It's not in your hand, everything.
what's that?
It's in your hand, everything.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's so many of the classics that just great, but of course, you know, the bands that are of our age and they're going to be gone at some point, you know. So you got to have other bands. You know, a band like the Black Dahlia Murder, you know, they're kicking it good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't know what's out there as much.
Don't have
you
any
know.
band that you like?
I'm not out there that much, you know.
What do you
so
listen to home?
a lot of rock and roll.
Rock and roll, old stuff.
Yeah, a lot of old stuff.
Like?
You know, I was listening to like I was really got into like the Steppenwolf and Grand Funk and you know of course the classics like Led Zeppelin, but then I was listening to Bad Company and Foghat and Traffic, Steve Winwood, all that kind of just, you know, a lot of just like classic rock. So
Talk about this boat. If this boat sink, you are able to save one record. Which one you choose to be saved?
it's a tough It's a tough answer.
The first one that comes in your mind.
Well, it would the first one that came into mind was Slayer, Rain and Blood. You know,
All right.
because you know that's just
Brutal, direct.
classic. You know,
Classic
help you
one.
keep you alive. You know, too.
Keep
right
you alive.
there, you go. Yeah.
All right. When do you Cannibal Corpse play again in Brazil?
Pretty soon, as a matter of fact. I mean, we're obviously in the beginning of our touring cycle.
Okay.
We're going to go to Europe right after this tour. After the boat here.
Yeah.
And then we're having a whole South American, Mexican, Central American tour lined up for September, October. And, you know, that's being worked on as we speak right now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you'll hear all the details when it's all announced. But yes, it's supposed to be September, October, and like I said, that should be getting announced hopefully very soon. But so we'll be back in Brazil pretty quick here.
Okay. Message to your fans from Brazil and Mosh readers.
Well, thank you for the support. We'll be back. We'll see all the Brazilian fans soon, and keep it death metal.